Hi, I'm Tim of Scrumptious Fish and Chips, and today I'm going to show you how we make our Scrumptious Fish and Chips. So first of all, I'm going to start off with the chips. We use a nice Kennebec potato, and before we get to this point, we hand cut them and peel them, and we let them soak overnight to get some of the starch out, and then we do something called a twice fry. So we've already fried them twice at low temperature to get them nice and fluffy in the middle. And now we're going to put them final fry at a high temperature to get them nice golden and crispy on the exterior. So in go the chips. So while the chips are cooking, we're going to go ahead and make the beer battered fish. We always like to use a local beer batter. So today we're using a steel bonnet beer, the English Rose. And we're also using a local fish. We're using a white fish that we get from H&H. Which is just a beautiful, nice, white, flaky white fish. So to cook the fish, the first thing that we do is get your fillet of fish and we coat it in flour. The flour is going to act like the glue to stick the batter to it. So just shake off any excess flour. You don't want too much flour in there. And then we're going to put it into our batter mix. We're going to submerge the fish into the beer batter, and then bring that over to the fryer. I'm going to allow some of the batter to drip off. Usually the consistency of the batter we like a pancake mix, just a little bit runnier than that. And we're going to put that in the fryer, put it in nice and slowly. And just drop it in. Fish takes about 6 minutes to cook. We don't like to play around with it too much. We let it go fry in there, and halfway we'll turn it over to make sure that both sides are fried. So it's always important when you're cooking fish and chips. One of the most important things with frying is ensuring that your oil is at the right temperature. So you have different temperatures for the fish and the chips. And also that the oil is clean. We always filter our oil every time we use it, and it's also fresh, clean oil as well. So we've used this a couple of times, but we can exchange the oil quite regularly to make sure it's nice and clean and fresh for the best flavour. Just giving the chips a little shake, so that they move around.
Are the oils at the same temperature?
No, this is a higher temperature, so this is about 375 degrees, and the fish is about 325 degrees. So because we want to make sure that the chips are really nice and crispy, whereas the fish, we don't want to burn the batter before the internal part of the fish is cooked. So we give the fish a little shake.
So when you say 6 minutes for the fish, is it like on a timer, or you just kind of like the look and feel and say like, okay, now it's about time?
It's on average, even though the fish that we serve are usually about between 6 and 7 ounces. No fish is the same. Some pieces are thicker than others, so they do cook at different times. But one thing that we always do is before we serve the fish, we make sure that we take the temperature. So it's more of a visual aid where we look at the fish. We can see by the colour of the batter whether it's getting close. Usually when it's floating to the top, we know it's getting close to being ready. But we always make sure that we take the temperature to ensure that the fish is fully cooked before we serve it.
So this all starts basically from when somebody places an order. It's not done like...
We don't cook in advance. That's the one thing with fried food, it just doesn't hold very well. And I would rather, I think some things are worth waiting for. And I think if you want good scratch-made fish and chips, you can wait 6 minutes, and it's definitely worth waiting for. That's why we like to take your phone number and we'll text you when it's ready, so you don't have to wait around. But 6 minutes, just enough time to grab a beer. Right, so we look at the fish, it's time to turn it around. Chips are really nice, you want it to be a nice golden colour, so I'll give it a little bit longer.
So how did, while we're waiting, the batter, how did you come up with that? Was it a lot of trial and error, or?
Not really. It's actually a recipe that's been in my family. My grandmother used to make fish and chips at home. I remember we never had deep fries like this, but I remember we had a pot and we'd always, she'd make fish and chips with a beer batter. So it's actually a family recipe that we've always had. But one thing we like to do is switch up the beer batter depending on what location we go to. So if we go to a different brewery, then we'll incorporate their beer, and that actually does have an impact on the colour and the flavour. So if you go to one brewery, the fish and chips will taste different to another brewery as well.
So I like that a lot of your recipes are very family. Like, so this is your mom's, your sauces. One of them is from your sister, right?
The curry ketchup from my sister who lives in Germany. The beer battles from my grandmother from England. So yeah, it's definitely family business. All right, so I'm going to, when those chips are ready, I'm going to let those drain. We want to let the oil drain from that, and I'm going to take the temperature of the fish, which should be at 145 degrees. And yep, we're past 145, so we're just going to let the oil from the fish drain. This is my favourite part, even though typically in England when you go to a fish and chip shop, usually you put your own salt and vinegar on, but the way I like to do it is I like to put the salt and vinegar on because it's English style, and who doesn't like lots of salt and vinegar on their chips? So I think it's just easier to mix it all together. So chips go in a bowl. First thing I'm going to do is add some salt. I'm going to use some sea salt. We're going to coat the chips in the sea salt, and then I'm going to add the malt vinegar. Lots and lots of malt vinegar. Just give that a nice. Alright, so then we're going to move over to our box. We have a nice new box that we serve our fish and chips out of. Gives it a little bit more room. We actually have vents as well, so even though fish and chips are best eaten immediately, the vents help the food not steaming and getting soggy, so it will stay nice and crisp by the time you get it home. So I'm going to put the chips on one side. Bring our white fish over, place it down. I like to place the fish beside the chips, not on top, so it stays nice and crisp. And obviously you always want to serve with a nice wedge of lemon. So there you have it. We have Scrumptious Fish and Chips using local white fish with our scratch-made tartar sauce and our curry ketchup.